afternoon?
No, the last communication I had with Paul from Acton was he was at the council meeting to hear that his agreement got approved, so he got that agreement approved for spending up to $25,000 to do any grant preparation work. He wasn't concerned about himself, he was concerned more about the people that work for them to make sure that they get credit, but he didn't think we would spend anywhere near the 25,000, but that was a number he threw out, so I said, it's in the budget, just do it.
Do you need my time?
It'll pick it up, but go ahead, it makes it easier, but generally for the audience, but the NEFAR is really good about picking up voices, so.
Okay.
We also discussed, I need the final bill from him to close out the other grant. He had sent me the bill, but he had just lump sum, and I said, no, you gotta put more discussion in there about what it is, they won't, nobody will like that, you gotta give me a little more detail. And that's the only thing I heard,
Okay.
some of the things we talked about, so I have no idea
I
what they're doing.
talked to him before I went on vacation, and at that time, and I think it's what I wrote to you that you updated the council on, was that, they're planning on using a portable fuel cell, because they make them on a 4K unit on a cart now, and a couple of those in the community center rather than building something on site.
He's talking about a couple, because last time I talked to him, he mentioned those, and it sounded like there would just need to be one, but.
Well, I'm not sure 4K units is big enough for that, community hall, but you can always add another one. I mean, they're linearly scalable and just connect them to an external fuel supply. And then if we need to, we'd expand the hydrogen generating capacity here at City Hall, and so we just leave the one site for now. As for the water treatment plant, we want to work a backup power supply fuel cell system into the design of the new plant, so it just becomes part of the new plant specification. And then I'm not sure what's going on with wastewater treatment. Is that being redesigned too, or is that coming up for renewal, or do we?
No, well, we're gonna do a facilities plan, but that's not that's just about our wastewater treatment plant and
And anything done down there can be handled out of water funds.
my understanding though, from talking to Scott, who was the engineer that did the initial analysis, is that the power load's too high. It wouldn't be a good place to put hydrogen power because it takes so much power. I don't remember exactly what he
Oh, the
said,
startup power for the pumps?
but he said that would be not worth it, is what he kind of said.
You could always just charge a capacitor.
I remember him saying that because we had him look at all of them when he was out.
Yeah, I think he
He
said
got
that
the
the
power
capacity
load
would
on all
have
of
been,
them,
because the startup capacity is so much higher than nominal.
maybe, I don't remember it,
That
it
it
was a
was-
while
You
ago.
have to have a huge system in there.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure what the alternative for that is, although frankly, just letting it vent to the sea is probably good enough. If it runs out of backup
I
power.
think the DOQ would argue against that.
Well, it's only when it runs out of juice and backup, that's the last resort.
We have generators.
Yeah, but that's 2 days worth or 3 days worth, so we'll take a look at that. So no decisions to be made yet. We've got to get this grant application written, and do we have a date for the deadline? I thought it was,
September 19th, it's coming really fast. And I've seen the checklist of what needs to be done. So I hope they're working on it because.
Could you send that to us? So
You want me
we
to
can
send you the
maybe help
checklist?
out? I'd like to set a date, at least a week before that, if not 2 weeks before, where we get a preliminary review of the phase 2 proposal.
yeah, because our next meeting is not till after that.
And they don't know that I'm aware of, that you guys are talking about another grant, another planning grant. They don't know that you kind of mentioned that, so if you're going to do that, you probably need to.
Oh, I thought whole church knew that we were talking about a planning grant for,
Because I think that's where the
Other
idea
side.
came from. was that I talked out of my conversation with him.
Cause he's not mentioning doing a planning grant. He's only mentioning doing the construction grant. And I
When
wasn't
is the-
sure how
when
much you guys had told him.
Okay, so the planning grant, is that the one that closes on the 19th or the
That
next?
construction grant closes on the 19th, well, I think they all, yeah, it's all of it's the 19th. Yeah, it just depends on what you're applying for, it's all the 19th.
Okay. So we need to find out if he's working on that. the planning
Yeah,
grant.
and I don't remember what was that for, but,
I thought that was for the north side of Depoe, right? Or,
Yeah, but I would still argue we don't need another planning grant. We need a second phase 2 grant to
yeah,
do more facilities. With
Yeah.
a scaled up system.
we have a design for a system, we just need to.
wait, so is there, say that again?
That
Joe,
at the
Would you like a copy of the
ODU.
checklist too?
OE meeting, they confirmed that you could submit more than one phase 2 grant.
Okay,
So I would argue, let's submit a second phase 2 grant for other facilities than City Hall and the community center. From the list of facilities we developed earlier.
and
That was-
can we do that, a second phase 2 grant?
Yeah, ODOE said there's no reason why you can't submit a second one.
The only problem would be, it needs to be for a city-owned facility. Do we have any city-owned facilities over there that we, other than the community center, which we're planning on using a card for? Portable fuel cell for, do we have anything over there that would qualify?
The water's up there, right?
Well, water's huge, that would be, and that's gonna be redesigned in a few years, so we're gonna just build that in, but,
Right,
the, community center, water plant, wastewater plant, and city hall are the 4 city-owned locations that we could actually use grant money to do.
Police and fire.
Police and fire, right, but they would have to, well, sure, we could do that. That would also cover the cell towers. So we need to figure out what their, so a construction grant for them, we just need to size it. And they could do, solar mostly, but
cell towers are they owned by the city?
the towers are owned by the city.
Are they? Okay.
I believe that, and they run off the generator that powers the fire station. So they use that power, but, and the only reason that we'd include that, first of all, they need to how much electricity, and secondly, we need the cell service.
Sure.
That's the only reason it was open, but, so let's go for a construction grant aimed at, fire station.
For second phase 2 construction grant for
Yeah.
fire station?
So you do know we do not own the fire station. We have no connection, other than, the nebulous connection we have with them supporting the city,
Yeah, they'd
You
have
would
to do
need
that, wouldn't they?
talk to the chief, yeah.
Yeah,
We
they'd have to
wouldn't have,
apply.
So is that a county-owned asset or?
It's a fire district.
Depot Bay Fire District, they own it, yeah. So that would be the, chief,
Chief, and they have a commission,
yes,
so it'd be their commission.
yes.
So we'll talk to them about it. So we don't really need a second grant for the city. Because our other facility will be handled by the current construction grant. It's gonna handle both community and
Well,
city hall.
I still haven't seen the first reasonable pricing that I believe in.
Yeah, that's,
And that's the big thing hanging over us. We've seen this phase 1 report, there isn't squat about pricing. I don't know if we're talking $1 million, $10 million, $300,000, what? So,
no, that's part of what they're doing now, is the pricing out of that.
but that would predicate whether we need a second grant or not. Because if they come back and say just City Hall, is $1 million for what they've currently got sized, I say that's inadequate for future needs. And then, because we wanted to upgrade the hydrogen generation piece of it,
Mhm.
but I don't have a price on that. And then the community center, at least, and then, you know, before we get into this stuff.
Yeah,
So we need to pin them down on some numbers.
Okay, so we need estimates.
Well, and remember, part of the thing is that you're going for phase 2 of what the planning document came up with. So adding all this extra stuff, I know you could probably go for a phase 2 construction, but you don't have any of the pre-work done. So, you know, with the planning grant, you got a lot of the pre-work done, even though you don't have the set numbers, you have the general numbers, but you have a general plan for that.
Yeah.
They just need to really, they have to provide pretty robust construction documents. It's not just a drawing or a few plans that he put together.
To get the grant or not once the grant?
For the construction grant, yes, not for the planning, but for construction, whenever you have a construction project, you have to have the detailed drawings. And that checklist is pretty clear about that.
But that's what the construction grant is for, is to do that kind of work.
Right, but you have to have a plan for it.
Right.
You have to know what, because what are they gonna, how much money are they gonna give you is gonna be based on what? You have to have a design, just like when we wanna go out for a bid for
Well,
a
right.
project, and you have to know how much it's gonna be.
And we've got some fudge built into the current
Mhm.
design that says that, for example, multiple additional fuel cells, multiple additional electrolyzers. Right now they've got set up for one, but they've got as many as 3. The wind turbine is a 10 kilowatt wind turbine right now with 10 kilowatts of solar power. We can go up to 40 easily by just adding, you know, any combination of 10 to 40 by just adding a second wind turbine of either 10 or 20 and then using a 20 kilowatt instead of a 10, so you can go, you know, you can do any combination of that, so we can easily do that.
I get all
We
that,
just need- we just
that's
need
why we don't
numbers.
have to admire the problem anymore.
Right.
We just need to get some numbers so we can tell what a 10 kW versus a 40 kW generation capability looks like and costs.
Yeah.
And for instance, here's what it says about the construction grant on these drawings. A detailed construction plan and project schedule with major milestones, including the target operational date of the system. The schedule must show construction beginning within 12 months and completion within 36 months of estimated. A detailed description that demonstrates the project will operate as represented for at least 5 years and for the life of the project. The applicant should show how the project will be operated, blah, blah, blah. Lists the number and estimated duration of jobs for construction and installation listed by trade, and the number and estimated duration of jobs for system operations, and then a bunch of other things. So I think somebody needs to look at the checklist, and I suggested to Paul several times to look at the checklist, because I said it's big. There's a lot of stuff you need to do in it, so. Oops. So I'm gonna send this to you guys right
Yeah,
now.
those are all.
Please.
The planning stuff's in there as well. So when they did the 4 phases, or the 4 different kinds. So, it's all in one document, but you'll be able to do it, because you're obviously looking for construction.
But yeah, then once we have a chance to look at that, then we gotta circle back with Tursky and find out what his schedule is, what he's doing,
Right.
where we can help, where we need some extra effort, whatever. Because the 19th isn't that far away.
Right.
Yeah, I thought they pushed it off further than that.
Oh, well, in my last time,
And they
it said
might still-
October, but.
Last time it was August 22nd it was due. The first, but they moved that out a month.
When they announced the new August date for opening, they said they were pushing out the deadline 6 weeks, and that's only 4.
I don't know. I know that the original application
They
was
keep changing it.
August
Well, I'm
22nd.
on the website here, and it says September 19th, now it says, close opportunity period, applications due September 19th. by 5 p.m.
Good, well, that's the target.
And it's on the Oregon.gov website, schedule. Then review on the 22nd. Eligibility and completeness review.
One of the things I'm gonna do on September 2nd, I can't believe I'm saying that, is the approval from the council to go for the grant, because you guys, that's one of the documents you'll need to have, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that together.
All right,
Thank you.
so September 2nd.
Yeah. I'm actually sending you 2 documents. One is like a checklist and the other is a bit more detail on what's needed.
Okay. So, at this point, I'll plan on being there at this council meeting.
Okay.
So what do we have here?
So does somebody need to reach out to Chucky and, Dr.
Do
Chucky?
you wanna call?
Find out
Kim,
where we're at
who's
on
our
the checklist?
official contact with Paul? Is it you or,
Well, it appears to be me and you.
I mean, it can be, but if you wanna take it on and just limit it to just you.
All I'll do is just say that the Energy Advisory Committee is wanting some specifics and
Yeah.
Well, you can needle it better than that, because you can just say, hey, you know, this grant, because you're the city's representative on the grant. So you can say, hey, we need this stuff for the application and make sure it gets done, so what's your plan?
I can.
Yeah.
You guys are supposed to be driving this effort.
All right,
Why don't you
Remember
call
that.
Scott? I think he might understand.
Well, Scott will be speaking the language as far as the energy and stuff like that. You guys can speak that very well. I can speak together the grant application and deadlines and stuff like that.
all right,
But I think maybe between both of us, I think we both should work on.
okay,
You take a different angle than I will, so.
yeah, because because the operations and once we get the construction estimate, he can do the operation by trade. I think it's the operations guy is, it's gonna be.
He's got a team, figure he can
Yeah,
put
they
this
can figure
together,
it
I mean,
Right.
we're fronting quite a bit of money for him to be able to do this.
Okay,
I
Yeah.
have been nagging him, I promise you, but
Yeah. No, I think he needs some encouragement.
yeah. I'll send him an email this afternoon and then they're in Central Time.
Is he coming up with a list of staffing, do you know, that's required to operate this thing?
That's part of the plan.
that's part of what's required.
Right, I know that.
As far as I know, he's supposed to be coming up with everything. That's
Okay.
what I know, that's the last I heard. I didn't know if he was working with any individual members to come up with any of the
Okay, so I
details.
think that would be a great thing for you to confirm at the get-go,
Okay,
whether he is looking for other assistance or that he knows he's gotta do all this stuff by such and such a date, and
do we, want to schedule a special meeting in the middle of September, say 9th or 10th?
And you could invite him to that one.
8th, 9th,
I
or 10th?
think that would be great, I think we need it.
You available on
I was
the,
good. I can make myself-
What day were you looking at, Scott?
well, the 8th, 9th, or 10th, that Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, the week prior to the deadline. I think probably the 8th would be better.
The earlier the better, I would say.
I'll be coming back on Tuesday that day, so I don't know.
Let's go the 9th then.
9th would be great.
Are you on the 9th?
Or 10th,
That's fine.
9th, okay, so let's go September 9th at 1 o'clock.
yeah.
I'll have company here, but, well, it's okay. Well, they're gonna be here for 3 weeks, so.
Are you ready for a break?
Depending on when they arrive, you may be wanting to get out.
You could bring him and let him enjoy the delights of energy.
So Tuesday,
Okay, so that'll be here.
They'll be here.
and invite, Dr. Paul.
Yeah, I think we should.
I can take care of inviting him for you.
Yeah, it can be Zoom, that's fine. It doesn't
Yeah,
have to be-
he probably would Zoom. And he
Okay.
might maybe he'll bring some of his folks with him.
But yeah, I mean, that ought to be a target where we have a draft from him on the phase 2 proposal.
Because there's only 10 days left after that, after we.
Right, that's what I'm saying, yeah, that's kind of the drop dead date.
Which we would have by next day.
What the hell I just wrote? Yeah.
Okay, so next meeting, September 9th. Anything else related to the grant application we need to do with?
Well, yeah, we'll want to take a look at the checklist.
Yeah, I'll take a look at the checklist and then, anything that, I'll ask him if he needs any input from us, like writing or something, because a lot of the stuff about the ruralness and the qualifications for Depoe Bay are from the planning grant.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I'm not worried about that, but,
And I don't know that we have any expertise, you might do a construction schedule or estimate like.
yeah, whatever he needs, but.
They've got people to do that, so.
So I have a question about, other grants that are available and how you said that you want to build in energy resiliency to the new plans of the water treatment facility. Would we need an ODE grant to do that, in the future? Because those grants are up now, I mean, to apply for those, and you know how long the process is. Do we need to apply for that for the water treatment plan? For the future?
I don't know that we need an ODE grant for that, I mean, so here's the problem. There's only one more round after this. And I don't believe that project's gonna start in time.
Probably not for another 2 years.
And if they-
2 years.
And there's money
If not
available.
more.
Yeah, and that will be paid for mostly out of user fees, water charges.
Or water user rates.
Okay.
And there may be some
We'll have
additional
to
grants
get
for
we'll have
that.
to get a grant or loan from somewhere, but.
I'm sure they'll get grant
Our
money
water's
along
pretty
for
high
that,
already.
yeah.
That's a good
They're
grant.
talking $5 or $6 million.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the last quote about a year ago was 4.8.
you know, and so adding fuel cells to that would be a rounding error.
Would be aware.
A rounding error, you wouldn't notice it much, because they're rebuilding the entire thing, so, adding that, the only reason you'd wanna, well, the main reason you'd wanna add it as part of the project would be build it in and not add it on, so that's part of the plan, and you could make it part of the.
I just didn't wanna miss an opportunity to be
Yeah,
able
I
to
don't think
fund
they're gonna be
that.
ready in time.
Okay.
And there's other sources of money for that, so that's just a requirement for the plan, and that's part of the plan. And Grady's already aiming for that. I've already talked to him about that,
Talk to Brady about what?
but including that in the plan for the new water plant, he said that's a great idea, so.
Okay.
I think they're gonna do that. It's just a matter of putting in the spec for one thing, for a bid, and then it'll be part of the bid. And they don't need to specify the details, they just need to specify the size. And then whether or not they want to generate their own hydrogen on site, which is extremely, certainly possible.
So then who wants to talk to the fire chief about phase 2 grant then?
I've been trying to reach him.
Yeah.
Understand.
The deputy fire
Send you
chief
his
is,
information.
I'm sorry?
You want me to send you?
Yeah, please,
If you copy me, he might respond faster.
okay.
No guarantee, but he's been pretty good at responding to me.
Is he the new guy that presented a couple of the city council meetings?
Chief Jackson?
Oh.
I don't think he's ever been
Oh, that's
presented yet. Sheriff Shanks, and then we had our new deputy at National Night Out. No,
Fire.
Fire.
The new guy.
So Chief Jackson is the contact, I should.
Yes. Yes. And Clint Greeley is his deputy chief, and he is a planning commission member now.
Right, that's who I was.
That's who-
That's who I was referring to, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Thank
good.
you.
is this package for us, or is this package for everybody?
That stuff's for you guys, I just wanted to, because of the and I think it's maybe more of a moot point right now, but something to think about. But the way the public meetings laws have changed, especially in light of sewer communications, there's a lot of discussion going on, and a lot of people are getting opinions from the ethics folks to find out whether or not they can do this and that, this and that. Well, one of the things that came up is, you guys had talked originally about coordinating and working on the document outside of the regular meetings. There's also the options of like using in Google Docs and kind of coordinating things like that. Well, all of that is possible, but it's a pain, meaning that you can do it, but we would have to notice it. So if you wanted to work on a Google Docs and you would have to notice specific dates and times. You would have to give them a link to the Google Doc, and because it's all about transparency, it's all about making the public aware of what you're doing. The serial communications is more like, if you guys are going to be, and this is where it gets a lot of people giving a hard time, you guys can talk to each other as long as you're not gonna deliberate on making a decision. So if you're just talking general stuff about the project, then you're only making a recommendation. So that's what you're doing generally, is only making a recommendation to the city council. So you guys, the serial communications isn't as bad. But it's the meeting notices that becomes problematic if you either want to do Google Docs or if you want to have email communications where you actually talk about something you're going to deliberate on or decide on. So that's why it's one of those things where the documents I gave, I highlighted some of the relevant points, and the end of the Ethics Commission says have more meetings. Essentially, if you want to meet outside of the regular meetings, you can. But they're saying, if you don't think you can get it all done during the regular meeting, they're saying have another meeting.
The other thing is, no more than two of us will ever work on a document together. The Google Doc thing is an interesting idea, because you can publish a read only link.
Yeah, and that's what they're talking about.
And that would have to be time specific, because that'd just be permanently open.
Time specific, meaning that you guys, it would have to be permanently open, but see, you'll see, they're making it so difficult. I get why, but if you guys were gonna work on it, if you were gonna work on it one day and you were gonna work on another day and you another day, you'd have to notice all those requirements. You couldn't just go in and work on it one day and,
But if it was permanently open, anybody could go in anytime. and see
doesn't
what's
matter,
done.
they have to give them specific dates and times when they'll be working on the document. Take a look at that stuff, it's, these are advisory opinions that are written by the Ethics Commission to various people who have asked them. Because of this public meetings law stuff is so squishy, it's such a pain right now, I've been studying this like crazy, because it's hard. And there's a lot of confusion out there, but there's even a lot of confusion among these experts. Apparently, the Ethics Commission is supposed to be working on something to clarify the rules and to clarify this serial communications, because a lot of places are saying, we can't work. You're making it very challenging for us to be able to do anything, to talk to anybody, to talk to constituents, to do anything. So there's a lot of frustration at government, all levels of people that have to deal with public meetings laws and these rules. So if you wanna work on them together, the best thing to do is set up a work session.
Well, that's what the length is. So far.
Hopefully you'll have something to review by then.
Well, yeah.
But if you have something to review in the meantime, like we send something out, we can send out the document to you to look at, but you can't talk about it among yourselves, and you can't, you would want to set up a meeting to discuss it and to go over it.
And we need to stick with the contact, so that I can talk to Paul.
Yeah.
You could talk to Paul, but you couldn't, because then Paul would talk to you, because then they'll get served.
Yeah, it just really, you're right, it just really
Well,
gets,
yeah, I'm trying to,
Yeah,
that's why
so-
it gets so squishy. I mean, it used to be that you were okay to talk to staff, but now they've roped staff into this. Yeah,
what brilliant person did that?
Somebody was abusing it.
who knows?
Somebody was
I know,
abusing it.
that's the problem, is right now, everybody's like, oh my gosh, you're tying my hands completely. How am I supposed to talk to Councilor Cannon and then talk to Mayor Shore, and then I could bring in, and then she talks to Councilor Sovereign, and then Councilor Cannon talks to Councilor Marcella, and there you go, you got your quorum. And all because I reached out to Counselor Kent or something, you know? So we have to be very, very careful.
And the problem is you cannot reach a consensus in a public meeting setting or a hearing setting, because the rules of Robert rules just don't allow that kind of thing.
What do you mean?
Well, if you
You're
wanna
in a
come
public
in,
meeting, you can make.
negotiate an agreement and then have the hearing about it, you know, in other words, reach a consensus, the whole process of reaching a consensus often takes days, not minutes.
Oh, sure, like, for example, the harbor user fee is what the council's working on right now. We had a work session, well, first it was introduced at one work session, then we had another work session. Now we're gonna have, our first public hearing on it. So, I mean, it's just, you know, I was telling somebody today that, I was telling the wheels of justice move slow, well, the wheels of government move slow. And then you got people that do things like zero communications that include staff edits. I know why they do it, because if you go to the ethics commission, you look at the public dispositions of the cases, people are trying shenanigans all the time. So, so I get why they do it, but it's really tied hands, and it's really got the, like, the League of Oregon Cities that advocates for us is really fighting this battle about getting this fixed, because it's tying our hands.
Yeah, it's rules written by people who are actually practicing whatever the rules are.
Lawyers.
Yeah.
So
I love lawyers, and I do.
we need to, post the meeting then, for the ninth.
The ninth, you
Ninth.
guys gonna have it here at 1 o'clock, right?
Yeah,
And then I will invite Paul and anybody else he thinks could attend. Paul, post it for the work session. Yeah, you can go ahead and post it, I think you were emailing Paul, but yeah, we could definitely post, you know, do that, it's not a problem. I will tell Paul that you guys will be looking to actually have something to look at.
and you're gonna send him the link so I can tell him when I contact him today, he will be sending him the link to the meeting.
Oh, we'll send it out the week before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Gina will have to either create a new meeting link or set the other one up as a recurring, I don't remember what we done. Zoom is being weird.
yeah, that's an understatement. At least it's not Teams.
Teams is worse, but
Anything else? I think we've got our work cut out for us here,
Yeah.
so. We get this grant application in and then we have a long period of waiting, and we can talk about other stuff. Or waiting for the grant to get approved or
Yeah,
rejected.
I'm interested in talking about, this, sustainable Northwest too, and their microgrids and community energy resilience for Oregon. That we're working with these guys already, so I'd like to look into that.
We need to be more official about working with them. I think we probably need a more formal relationship with them as a committee, if we can do that.
Yeah, we had a guy named Daniel Ware present, about the drinking water source grant.
So what is it, Sustainable Northwest?
Sustainable Northwest, and they have this microgrid and community energy resiliency. This is the title of, but, and
You wanna reach out to him,
They
Joey,
have
and
to
see if
offer.
we could maybe chat with him?
yeah, to see what they have to,
Yeah,
how we
what
can work with
that
them.
What that bullet means.
Yes,
What they do, who they're doing it with, et cetera.
yeah, if there's anything we can.
So we can't meet with anybody without officially scheduling it,
meet with, what do you
like
mean?
Sustainable Northwest.
No, those are different,
Okay,
those are different, yeah.
okay.
You're just seeking information from
Right.
them, you're gathering information.
Exactly.
If all the purpose of you
And
doing
sometimes-
something is to gather information, that's okay.
Yeah, if we want to establish a formal relationship with them, we need city council approval.
Sustainable Northwest, are you gonna call Daniel?
I'm not sure yet.
Well,
Daniel
He
is
was
the one
working on the
who's,
water.
right, Daniel's working with us on drinking water,
right, but there was one of the bullet points he showed in his slide presentation at the council meeting was microgrids
but,
and.
okay.
Power
wing too.
If you're not sure who to contact, let me know and I'll give you Daniel's information and you guys can ask
Like
Daniel.
a hydro, you know.
Yeah, Daniel would be able to
Well,
get you guys
you wanna-
somebody.
You wanna contact them or you want me to?
I don't feel like I talk as good as you guys
Okay,
do.
would you send me Daniel's contact info as
You're
well?
gonna
as
get all kinds of emails from me.
Okay, and Chief Jackson too, please.
I already did that one.
Oh,
Do you want me
okay.
to send you this link about previewing?
Yeah, would you?
Yes.
So that's, basically, we wanna know what they're thinking and we can work together as an advocacy
Yes,
kind of situation.
yeah. And
Because microgrids are basically building low power systems, so once we get. So one of the things we can do after the grant application is in, and we're waiting for the results, is figure out preferred multiple scenarios for hydrogen supply, because we've got to solve that problem. With the portable 4K units and the built-in 4 to 32K units for small, and you can start at 100K and go up from there, 100 kilowatts, go up from there. For fuel cells, there are a number of electrolyzers on the market. There's all sorts of components available to do that. It's just a matter of figuring out that part of it, the power supply part of it is pretty much a solved problem. It's just a matter of engineering it for a specific site. The hydrogen generation and distribution plan, whether we want to encourage city to do it just for their own operations, whether they encourage it to sell them as a utility as part of their, whatever, or whether we want to go private, would recommend that it be private or private business. Any of those options are available, and just figure out what the scenarios are and maybe have some combination of the bunch. But after the grant is applied for and in, we can start focusing on a generation system. And part of that is distribution, so that we can easily get it to the 5 islands in an emergency. And that might be, you throw a 3K tank on the back of an ATV down the hill. It might be that, or 3K tank you could probably lug yourself, but in worst case. So that's the little 46-inch tanks. 3 kilograms of hydrogen. The 5 kilogram ones are 7 feet tall, I think. So that's what we need to figure out for that. So that would be like the next steps. But we can work with any number of organizations, because one of the things that these other organizations can do is help get more people involved. So we can start talking to Lincoln County, and so this is what we're doing for Depoe Bay. And we'll work with somebody else, and if we want to share hydrogen generation, and maybe figure out some larger scale stuff, then we can do that too, if we want to work with other groups. But how much does the city want to own and operate versus.
Right. And so we would need to come up with a plan or several alternatives
Scenarios,
and brief that to the council and let them make the call as to
Right.
whether.
Yeah, and frankly, if their decision would be whether or not they want to operate their own facility, either as a utility or as just for internal use, and that's their decision. That's a policy that we could recommend.
Yeah.
And then we'd also recommend that it wouldn't need council approval. We could recommend private enterprise and all the rest of it, for example.
Hey, Dave's here.
How you doing?
Hey.
No?
As
Come on in,
Dave
have a
Pacific
seat,
is our
Dave.
new member.
Anywhere you'd like. We'll have to get you a name tag.
Oh, okay, thanks.
You want to also identify the long-term, the resilient versus prime power. If you come back around the prime power, you become a business. So I think we're going to kind of really stay focused on emergency operations. Start with. Then as you gain all your emergencies, you can roll it over into prime. And rather than try to jump on both of those right off the bat, stay with resilience, stay in that lane, stay in backup. Because we still got to deal with all the necessities of life, the fuel stations, warming shelters, what got us into this beginning.
Well, and you can't talk about going off grid until you get
Correct.
more,
Yes.
what's the word?
Energy supply.
Well, that would be part of it, but the more fuel cells installed.
Right.
You start getting individual houses that have them instead of generators. For example, if Little Oak Cove wanted to do something for internal purposes, you could use that meadow to create a hydrogen facility and then encourage fuel cells as opposed to generators. because of the noise, and by the way, we provide the fuel.
But it's all gonna be based on how much per KW. It's hard to compete with the hydro plants right now. In the configuration they're in, you go rolling over into hydrogen, we don't know price per KW. So,
I figured that, in distance calculations, if we could get generation costs down to $1.50 a kilogram, we'd be okay. Right now, it's about 4 something. But see, here's the thing. A lot of those cost calculations depreciate the capital cost over the lifetime of the, or some period of time.
but you're talking about delivered versus on-site, right? Delivered per KW versus on-site. We don't know that number yet.
Well, and then you'd also need to retail that. So what would be, and frankly, there's a number of delivery options too. You deliver by the kilogram, you deliver by the kilowatt hour, you deliver by the tank. All of those are options. And so what is the most efficient for an operation standpoint? Because the mechanics are the same in every case. It's just how do you price it and what's the most efficient pricing? And
We don't
so,
have that info.
and that's something, well, that's something we'd have to figure out because it's a choice. So whenever it's a choice, it's something we have to discuss and decide. You know, if the city wanted to do it as a utility, they'd probably price it by kilogram. If Central Lincoln wanted to get involved, they'd probably price it by the kilowatt hour. Now, and then you gotta have a distribution system. So now you gotta go distribute it. So there's all sorts of things that need to be built into that. And frankly, just saying let private enterprise handle is probably easiest. And let somebody get investor money to figure out how to do all that. Because I think the city's gonna wanna take care of its own supply for resilience purposes, and then
Stay there.
if we're going off grid, we'll decide what to do.
So our community buildings that we are planning on having fuel cells at are City Hall, the community
Community center,
center, City Hall.
the water plant, and the wastewater treatment plant, eventually. Those are the four city-owned
But
buildings
the water plant, the water, and the wastewater, not
In this,
in this.
so really we just have two
Two
sites?
places, yeah, initially. Because there are only 4 city-owned facilities that we're looking at.
And then also looking at the fire station and.
Getting the fire chief, the fire station, the fire commissioner going along, the fire district.
Really, we only have 2, and so there's no.
And then eventually, you're gonna wanna run this through, you know, look at the businesses. Like Chester's would be a great opportunity.
But that's not owned by the city,
It's
right?
not owned by
So
the
we
city,
can't
so the
get that.
city, so we can't get involved in that.
Do we wanna update Dave about where we're at so far on this? I mean, cause he's new.
You guys all,
Catch me up later.
you guys all know Dave?
I know.
Yeah,
on the phone.
I've been-
I'm Scott.
Scott and Dave, nice to meet you.
Welcome.
I'm Dave, I'm Joanne.
You and I spoke on the phone.
Yes, correct, and you've met Paul, and this is my husband Joe Canning.
Hi, Joe, how are you? I saw you at the council meeting the other night.
And Dave, this is Gina,
Hi,
she's my administrative assistant, you might
Hello.
be hearing from her a
Okay.
lot, so, her or Carla.
Thank you.
So let's recap what we did today then for Dave anyway. We're gonna get, well, we're hoping for a detailed final bill from Afton, from Dr. Paul Turkey, who's working on this grant. We have 25,000 to move forward in the budget for Afton to continue to work on the construction grant. The new water treatment plant's gonna be in a couple of years, and we're looking to build in energy resiliency in that design in the years ahead, right? So, Paul Bannis, suggested, a second phase 2 construction grant that may include the Depoe Bay Fire District, and we're going to contact, the fire chief and see where we can go with that. September 2nd, is going to be approval from the city council to move forward with the grant. I forgot her first name. Kim, Kim was gonna put that in, for the city council too. So
She's a
that
city
we're
council
official,
herder.
right?
What did you call me?
City council herder.
And Scott's gonna call, Dr. Paul Turkey at Aptum for the construction estimate on the checklist of where we're at on the grant, staffing plan. And then we'll have a work session meeting on Tuesday, September 9th at 1 p.m. And we'll invite, Aptum's Dr. Paul Turkey to join us via Zoom, because he's in Louisiana. He's the one that's been working on this grant.
So that's our next, this committee's gonna meet as a work session on the 9th.
That's the.
Couple of some documents to review. I'll make sure we have some documents to review, at least something. That's 2 weeks away.
And the grant's due date is September 22nd.
22nd?
No,
19th,
19th, and they review on the 22nd, so.
And we won't know for till November, so.
They don't announce till January.
Oh, okay. So after that, we'll start.
You can find out more information on the Oregon.gov website, and CREP, they call it.
Or the ODLE, Oregon Department of Energy, Community Renewable Energy Grant.
Right.
website.
CREP, Community Renewable Energy Grant Program.
That's where they got all the documents.
They respond immediately almost in most cases, and they're very good about returning calls. So if you call
Yeah,
them-
I like working with them,
Yeah,
they're a
they're-
pretty good group.
So Scott, it says award notification is January 5th through 7th approximately.
They'll probably push it off again, because they did last time, they got a lot of responses. Remember, they pushed off that.
They had over 80.
We're still recruiting review committee members.
I know, I saw the announcement.
Unfortunately, I can't. I have a serious conflict of interest.
Yes.
So, I think after that, then, after we apply for the grant, so after the grant's applied, we'll start, this committee will start focusing on next steps. Like for recommends to the city, you know, where the city should go, because we're focusing on what the city should do. And right now, city should focus on resilience and building an inland water plant, figuring out what to do with the wastewater treatment plant, because it requires too much power, and maybe there's a combination of things we can do there. And then, recommend city policy for the rest of the town, and what is our direction that we want to encourage people to go as a city, rather than, there's nothing we can do about it, but let's just say we don't want to encourage them to do that. And then encourage groups like Little Cove to figure out something too, because, you know, we want to focus internally on providing resilient power for the community center, rec center, and maybe take it out really, potentially, because once you have the size of the fuel cell, it's just a matter of keeping the supply of fuel. So once we get the fuel capacity generation high enough, you know, and then that can be scaled incrementally. So, and there's lots of options for that. That's getting kind of exciting. Wind power especially. Anything else? Okay, let's go ahead and adjourn the meeting, and we'll see you on the 9th.